So we've got executive chef at New England Culinary Institute and one of my good friends, Tom Bivins.
Nice to see you, Sean.
What are you cooking for us today?
Well, today we're going to do a Champurrado, which is a hot Mexican chocolate.
Okay.
You know, the Aztecs will be forever remembered for giving us chocolate and chilies and squashes, things that are...
And early bling with all the gold.
Early bling, yes. But this was probably the most priceless thing that they gave to Western civilization. So
we don't have to fight about it, but
okay.
I'll let you win this one.
All right. So we're going to make this hot chocolate. It has a little bit of spice. It has some ancho chili added to it, so
nice.
It's got a little bit of a kick.
Okay.
Now, one of the things that's really important about this particular dish is that it's thickened with corn and cornstarch, and creates a really thick, luscious chocolate that's really tasty.
Excellent.
And what, you know, this is a dish that's normally served for holidays and festive occasions.
And it's
weddings,
almost holiday season and festive occasion
time.
season.
And, you know, you're going to want something nice and thick to keep you warm very
Yes, you
soon.
do.
I'm sure of it. So the first thing that we're going to do is take our milk. And today I'm using Strafford Creamery. As you know, I'm a board member for Vermont Fresh Network, so the idea is to use as much local product as we possibly can.
And not just that, but I mean, you've been very integral within Necky to make sure that they're using more and more local product that a lot of people don't know about.
Right. My whole job there is to send hundreds of kids out every year who will have experienced Vermont and discovered what's great about Vermont and taken it to all the other states in the country and make it part of their cooking and part of their lifestyle.
Exactly. So. And when those kids take off and go to, you know, I don't know, LA, New York, and Boston, and Chicago, they're taking that importance of using local product with them, which Vermont showcases as commonplace.
Absolutely.
But outside the States, very new concept.
Right. So, and we're quite famous for what we're doing here in Vermont with local food and buying local. So, anyway, to make the recipe, we're going to put 4 cups of whole milk. We're going to take and let that start to warm up.
And for this, should you substitute with skim milk or anything like that?
You certainly can, yes. But I don't think it's quite as nice as that whole
you should
milk.
definitely not do that unless you want to have a
and
very
it's the holidays. You want to have as much really wonderful.
Live a little.
Yeah, that's right. So what we're going to do is add brown sugar to our milk, and we're just going to whisk that together. And then we're going to take, this is Butterworks cornmeal.
Great cornmeal.
We're starting to produce a lot of really great grains in the state of Vermont.
Yeah, Nitty Gritty, I mean, out of Shelburne, doing a great job too.
And Grissom Granaries is doing lots of really great stuff. So we're going to take that, add it to a little bowl, along with some, with some water.
Okay.
Couldn't see that.
You want me to stir this up?
Please. And then we're going to add a little bit of cornstarch. Now we want to do this while it's cold. We don't want to make it get hot because it won't thicken up properly. So we're going to stir that all together.
It's kind of like a modified slurry.
Right. It's a modified slurry.
It's a really thick, old school slurry.
Well, this is you'll like the way this ends up, though.
All right.
So once that's done, we're just going to add it to our milk.
Okay.
And we're going to stir that all together. And it's going to take about 10 minutes for it to thicken up. But once it thickens, it's really going to start to look almost like a soup. So you can really see how thick that it really becomes. So once that happens, it's time to add our chocolate.
Okay. And what kind of chocolate do you use for this?
Well, I'm using an Ibera Mexican chocolate, but a bittersweet chocolate or a semi-sweet chocolate would be perfectly fine for this.
What's the difference between a Mexican chocolate and, say, a French chocolate?
Well, usually French chocolates are just cocoa butter and cocoa nibs. This is cocoa nibs, cinnamon, and sugar.
Okay.
So it has a little bit of a flavor to it that you might not have with a regular French chocolate or Swiss chocolate. So once this is thick enough, we're going to add the chocolate and start stirring that in. Okay. We're also going to add a little bit of cinnamon, just a pinch of cinnamon.
Just to accentuate that Mexican chocolate.
Yes, absolutely. And then the last thing is the chili. And, you know, when the Spanish came to Mexico originally, this was actually the seasoning for most of the food was chili, so chili and salt. So, you know, this is a perfect mixture with the chocolate. It really helped it stand out quite a bit.
And that ancho, it's not cayenne. Cayenne is super hot. The ancho brings, I guess, more of a
smoky,
different...
It has a little bit of a sweet flavor to it, so it actually works really well with the chocolate. And you can experiment with lots of different chocolates to see what you get. So we're going to let that cook for about 20 more minutes, stirring it frequently and making sure that it's fine.
But with our magic stove, might take a little less time.
Didn't take quite as long. Now, traditionally, when you serve this, and we're going to go ahead and I have one here that's ready to go. And you can see really how luscious.
Yeah, I mean, it's super smooth, super silky.
And the corn really gives it a velvety texture that it might not otherwise have. So traditionally, this is served with churros, which I've made those as well today.
And what exactly are churros? Kind of like Mexican donuts?
They're sort of like a Mexican beignet.
Okay.
You know, they're made with pâte à choux and a little bit of cinnamon and sugar.
Busting out the fancy French terms.
Right. The idea here is that this is so thick that the churro should actually stand up in the chocolate.
Will it work?
We're about to find out.
All right.
The other traditional accompaniment is a cinnamon stick.
Great.
So we're going to add that. Go ahead and drop it in. Let's see how this works. Oh, there you go.
It's standing up. It's standing up pretty well. I'm kind of excited about this. So do you get a glass too?
So once you do that, yeah, I'm going to make myself a glass. Right. And then what we're going to do is just dunk it in and
then eat it up. And then
that's
hopefully
our
it's going to be
special piece for today.
So I got a question for you. I mean, since you're so involved in the Fresh Network, why should people out there go to a Fresh Network restaurant or go to a store that sells local products?
Well, I think because you want to know that the great thing about Vermont Fresh Network, and we actually have our sign, and most of the restaurants that are members of Vermont Fresh Network actually have the sign posted in their restaurant. There you go. It looks very nice.
Perfectly standing up.
But these are partners. They've made a commitment to one another to use each other. To buy locally from their farmers and then to sell those products in a beautiful way in the restaurants that they're served in. So it's not just restaurants, it's actually school cafeterias, college cafeterias, hospitals are doing it as well. And today, when you become a member, they're going to send you a little pamphlet and also a dining guide. This is all of the members for Vermont Fresh Network are listed here throughout the state of Vermont. So
including your places.
Including
and
New
my
England Culinary.
Place and everybody else's places.
Exactly. So this is really a great guide. It's pocket size. It can fit into your, put it in your glove box in your car.
I actually keep it in my wallet. So it is pocket sized.
All right. Well, maybe your wife will want this one. There you go.
She will.
All right.
Excellent. To you. So for folks who haven't called in, the number is 1-800-639-8303. I'm very excited to eat this Champurrado. So cheers to you.
Cheers.
That is chocolate-rific. All that cinnamon, all that different flavor, the sweetness really coming out.
The chili really kind of pops up just a little bit.
I feel like it's holiday season already. Yeah. So make sure you get on that phone, 1-800-639-8303. We're going to head right back to the pledge set. Tom Bivins, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.